Atheists, such as Dawkins, religion is a disease, a virus of the mind, something to be cured, eradicated. To the atheist, God is the devil. God, or belief in God, atheists claim, is a historic root of evil, war, violence, chaos. The world, they claim, would be better off without religion. It needs to be eradicated. It's not a matter of preference, but a matter of worldwide, global mental health, that religion be destroyed. But critics point out that men such as Hitler, Mao, and Stalin, all atheists, all mass murderers, committed the very kinds of crimes that they accuse religious people of having committed in earlier years. They suggest that the problem is not with God. Perhaps the problem is man. Some destructive force inside of man leads to these acts, and they should be attributed to human character and not to the character of God or the character of religion. Dawkins responds that while Hitler and Mao and Stalin may have been mass murderers, their mass murder was not endemic to their atheism. Instead, they were atheists who were evil, but not evil because they were atheists. Dawkins may be myopic because it may in fact, it appears to be true, that Hitler, Mao, and Stalin were precisely evil because they were atheists, because the evil that they committed was an integral part of their atheism. All were materialists and all pursued a heroic kind of atheism. For Hitler, the commitment was to a vision of race and a vision of evolution, and his crimes of mass murder and reorganizing the world were in pursuing that goal of accomplishing a kind of human-directed evolution. For Mao and Stalin, the subject was class warfare and a theory of history and of man that pitted the classes against each other. But whether it's Hitler, Mao, or Stalin, they all saw themselves as some kind of bloody midwives to history, giving birth to a new man, giving birth to a new epoch by their efforts which required destruction. The struggle with the old order, the one that had been organized in the West by Christianity, or organized by other methods in other parts of the world, the struggle was the same: to defeat the old order and to give birth to the new. And if that required killing millions of people, as was the case under Stalin or Mao or Hitler, then it would be done. This is as bloody as anything that has occurred in religious wars. Even with the sky empty, that is, living in a world without God, there was still plenty of reason for man to murder man on absolutely historic basis. It must be clear that atheists can punish us with a godless religion, a religion in which man himself, or historic process, or race, or whatever else we want to call it, becomes a substitute for the God we had previously worshipped. The problem is that it forgets the historic role of religion. Religion and belief in God provides man with morality and with some kind of structure in which he can control his own destructive impulses, control his own appetites, where he can escape the subjective and bind himself to some objective standards as a way of limiting his destructive capacity. And in this sense, God becomes, as an idea, an objective social phenomenon, whether you can, by faith, believe in him as an actual personality, or whether he just becomes a projection of our own concerns for the destructiveness that's inside of us. What is clear is that once those moral limitations are removed, the degree and the amount of destruction that mankind can engage in, as witnessed by the millions of deaths in World War II, the millions of deaths under Stalin, the millions of deaths under Mao, because there's nothing to limit that once you believe that you can achieve anything that you want to as long as you're advancing this image of mankind. Now, I do know that people are going to say that if religion is so good, why are there so many cases in history where religion is associated with violence or with destruction or this or that? And I think the answer is that while religion may be sacred, it is not itself divine. People will appropriate the structures that are around them to achieve their own objectives. People who want to be evil will be evil. And in religious eras, they will use God as a rationalization for the evil that they want to do. And in a scientific era, people like Hitler will appropriate elements of Darwin, or people like Marx. Marx will be appropriated by people who are more intellectually inclined to justify the really bad appetites and the really unrestrained things that they can do. But if we're talking about whether those people, Marxists such as Stalin or Mao, or fascists such as Hitler, whether they were bad because they were atheists, the answer would be that their atheism was an inherent part of the evil that they did, that the overall worldviews that they had compelled them to commit the crimes that they committed and served as a justification for those crimes. And from that perspective, it must be clear that while sometimes historically religion has failed to curtail the evil that is inside of man, that does not serve to prove that religion itself is the cause of that evil. To the contrary, throughout history, religion has been a civilizing force, has been a moralizing force, has been a good thing for mankind, and we would be really extremely in a dangerous position to try to get rid of morality and religion.